They throw a welcome party for Lloyd and tell him to eat as much as he wants because they are going to cover the bill tonight. Lloyd starts eating like he has never seen food before, and his new party members are quite amused to see that. They ask him if he was so hungry, and Lloyd tells them that the food in this town is really amazing. That is another shock to everyone because the food here is quite average. But Lloyd tells them that compared to what he has been eating since childhood, the food here has amazing flavor. Yui is curious about his childhood now, and Lloyd tells her that he used to live with his teacher, who cooked whatever grew in her garden. She collected wild mushrooms sometimes, and other times she would simply roast meat from wild beasts and then give it to him without any seasoning. Lloyd says that because of that, he learned to cook, but even then, he could never make food as good as this. Yui doesn't even care about food at this point, and she is more curious about the person who taught Lloyd magic. She asks him to tell her more about his teacher, and the other party members also join the bandwagon. Silica asks if his teacher is also a white mage, and Lloyd says that she is more of a combat-oriented mage because he often saw explosions when she was working alone. Silica is amazed that someone who is not a white mage trained Lloyd so well, and he agrees that Merlin is beyond amazing. Silica says that she would love to learn a thing or two from her, but Lloyd stops her right there, telling her that she would regret this statement for the rest of her life if she learns the truth. Anyway, after discussing some more about Merlin, the party decides to hold a strategy meeting for their mission, and Yui asks Daggaz to explain the mission details to Lloyd because she sucks at giving presentations. Daggaz tells Lloyd that their mission is to defeat monsters that are destroying local farms, and Silica tells him that multiple species of monsters have come together to form a pack. That is the first time Lloyd is hearing such a thing, and Daggaz says that it is new information for them too, but they need to take it seriously. Suddenly, Cross remarks that since they are against a huge number of enemies, he and Yui will struggle because physical attack dealers aren't good at handling mobs. Yui agrees, saying that Silica will have to carry them this time because she can use wide area spells. But even Silica is nervous because using wide area spells consumes too much mana. Yui then asks Lloyd if he can use attack magic, and he replies that he can use basic level spells, but the result is not that impressive. Daggaz then moves on to the strategy formation part, and says that he and Yui will gather the monsters in one area so that Silica can attack them at once. Cross will protect Silica and Lloyd, who will focus on healing and support. After that, everyone heads to the inn to get some rest, but Lloyd starts walking in another direction. Daggaz stops him, asking where is he going, and Lloyd nervously replies that he is too broke to afford a room in the inn. Daggaz immediately gives him a pouch that has more money than the sum of all the money Lloyd has seen in his entire life. He gets flustered and tells Daggaz that he can't accept it, but he replies that this is not charity because he will subtract this amount from his salary. Lloyd can't refuse now, and he thanks Daggaz, promising that he will work his best to repay the amount. The next morning, everyone gathers in front of the inn, and Yui is the last one to arrive. She asks everyone where their bags are, and they excitedly tell her that Lloyd put them all in his magic storage so they don't have to worry about carrying them. Yui immediately takes up the offer as well, and Lloyd quickly puts her stuff in the magic storage. Yui and Silica start glazing his amazing skills, but Lloyd tells them that he can teach it to all of them. Everyone is shocked to hear this because they have never seen anyone other than Lloyd use this magic, but he assures them that it is fairly easy to learn, even though increasing the storage capacity needs some training. With that, they depart on their mission, and on the way, Lloyd learns the importance of having fun during long quests. They reach their first campsite way earlier than scheduled because they don't have to carry the luggage, and there, Lloyd takes out the stuff from magic storage so that they can set up their tents. Yui decides to go splash around in the river now that they have set up tents, but Daggaz scolds her, saying that they still have to collect firewood and food. Lloyd volunteers to collect firewood, and Yui thanks him for reducing the workload. She then drags Silica away with her so that they can take a bath, and in the meantime, Lloyd goes to the forest and collects some dried sticks. He then spots the fruit he used to eat in his childhood and decides to take a handful for his party members, when suddenly, he hears Yui screaming. He rushes towards the direction of the scream and finds a giant serpent monster attacking Yui and Silica, who are completely defenseless against it. Lloyd immediately rushes in to help them, attacking the monster to grab its attention. Using this chance, Yui and Silica rush to the shore, and Lloyd waits for them to cover their bodies with a towel before tossing their weapons to them. He then instantly casts 2 enchantment spells on them, and Yui immediately lunges at the monster, cutting it in two with a single strike. However, even the severed head of the monster puts up a fight, and Silica tells Yui and Lloyd to take cover before she shoots a fireball at it, taking it down in one hit. She is shocked because she usually doesn't have that kind of firepower, but it doesn't come to her mind that Lloyd buffed her up. Meanwhile, Yui thanks him for saving their asses and asks him to put her sword back in the storage again, when suddenly, her towel drops and Lloyd gets to see the plot she'd been hiding. Both of them freak out, and Lloyd gets slapped even though it was not his fault. Anyway, once they return to the campsite, Lloyd decides to teach everyone how to use storage magic. He tells them to open up a space using their palms at first, but they don't understand how to do it. However, on Silica's advice, they give it a try, but they just look like a bunch of morons squishing an invisible balloon. Lloyd feels that he is a bad teacher because he can't teach it to them. But then suddenly, Silica chants storage, and she is able to open up a magic space. Everyone suddenly realizes that they can't cast spells without incantation like Lloyd, but if they can use chants, they can figure it out eventually. After a bit of practice, Silica is able to store her staff in the magic space, but others struggle to do it. Later at night, while the rest of the party is sleeping, Lloyd and Yui are on watch. Yui suddenly sits in front of him, thanking him for joining the party, and he replies that he was also jobless, so he should thank her. He then remembers how determined she was to complete the quest because their clients needed help, and asks her if there is any special reason why she is so dead set on doing this quest. Yui tells him that when she was little, her village was attacked by monsters, and she was the only survivor. So when she heard about the quest, she couldn't stop herself from accepting it because she wanted to save people from the situation she had faced. Suddenly, Lloyd cuts her off, telling her to be silent because there are monsters nearby. Yui gets alert and summons her sword, while Lloyd tells her to go and wake everyone up. Soon, the entire party is ready to face the spider monsters, but they realize that their numbers are too huge, and they should retreat for now. They start walking back slowly, but then unfortunately, Yui steps on a twig, and the sound attracts the attention of the monsters. Everyone runs as fast as they can, but the spiders catch up and surround them. They start squirting webs out of their butts, and the adventurers block the first round of attack. But then one spider ties Silica's staff and takes it away from her. The spiders then trap them in a cage of silk, and everyone panics. Lloyd says that they should stop the spiders right where they are before trying to defeat them. He quickly enchants his teammates and then tells Yui to attack first. She leaps up, cutting through the silk web, and then cross-returns Silica's staff to her. In the meantime, Yui rushes towards a spider, blocking its sticky spray and then quickly chopping off its legs. She then surfs on the silk squirt of the spider to quickly travel towards the second one, cutting off its legs as well. Next, Lloyd tells Silica and Cross to join the offense. Silica creates some fireballs and Cross shoots arrows through them, setting the spiders on fire with the burning arrows. The fight ends with that, and Lloyd realizes that he started yelling orders even though he is the newest member of the party. He apologizes for getting carried away, but Dagus tells him that it was a good thing because he has the qualities of a natural-born leader. Everyone else agrees with him, and they tell Lloyd to keep playing an active part in leading the party during battle. The next morning, everyone has learned the magic storage spell well enough to carry their own luggage, and as they resume their journey, Lloyd keeps thinking about why the spider monsters were here.